This is something I've had sitting in my shed for a very long time. It is a Y62 front end. Now you can probably tell what car this is going on. The plan was to do this when I did the 80 series, because the 80 series has obviously got the 200 front end on it. And the plan was to have a pigeon pair with the Patrol with the Y62 front end. But of course, things don't always go to plan. Life got in the way, bills got in the way, but today it has finally happened. I'm gonna commit, get this front end finished on the Patrol. So first things first, we've got to strip this thing, get the guards, grille, headlights out, start seeing what we've got to deal with, because these are gigantic. Okay, this thing is freaking gigantic. I think it's going to be a combination of cutting the body and cutting some of this headlight. Like, we don't need all this plastic on the corner here. Trim this down as small as we can. But I think similar to the 200 when we did the front end on the 80, we'll start from the middle and work out. So let's get the grille mounted and get that centralized, and then we know exactly where these lights need to start. Hey girl. Now finally, this gaping hole at the front here is finally gonna make sense. The reason I made this bull bar like that is for the shape of this grille. Now, we all know the Y62 front end, or the whole car for that fact, is wider than a Y61. So the idea is to trim down this seam line here. That'll bring the width in enough for the headlights to actually match the body on the Patrol. Well, at least that's the theory anyway. All right, I've just dropped the grille in for a bit of a test fit, and it's come up pretty much as good as I'd hoped. It's fully sat down, so it's pretty much covered in that bottom section now that is exposed before, and the height is pretty damn close. I might have to trim a smidgen off the bottom, a bee's dick, and make some custom little L brackets to come out from there out and grab this guard. So the first thing is to make a couple of these supports to hold this in a fixed position. Once that's sorted, then we can start fitting one corner of the light and getting that sorted, but it's working so far. What do you reckon? Agree? Grille's in, let's get cutting. All right, we've got a section cut out. This one, not so much. The other side, I went a little bit more to town, cut it a bit deeper. So the plan now, I've got to get this bull bar off and move it out the way so I can try and fit the lights and cut it a bit deeper. I think I'm gonna have to cut along the body line there. All of this is kind of useless material for what I'm doing. So the good news is I've kept this top brace, which keeps the structural integrity with the bonnet and everything and latches and that. But what I have done is I'm gonna set up a bit of a little test bench to make sure these lights are gonna work. So I've got a battery here, got some wires stripped back. So I'm gonna see and just make sure that these lights are gonna work. To be honest, I probably should have done this at the start, because some of these headlights do have what's called like kind of CAN bus setup, and they don't run off 12 volt. And this little guy looks a little bit suspicious. It's kind of like a headlight ECU. So let's hope it works. Whack it on this stand here. All right, first wire, red wire, I assume. Looks like high beam, low beam, and then there's a new set of wires up here. I'm hoping I can get the DRLs and indicators to work. Sweet, that's DRLs. That's gonna look sick. Hook that up to parkies. This is hopefully indicator. Oh yeah. We're on, boys. Let's get them in. All right, I got a bit gnarly with the chopping. I even actually had to chop a bit of the bottom off the light. So I'm gonna have to flush that up and reseal it. But there was a massive chunk hanging off there. It was hitting the intercooler piping here, which is the biggest pain. So I'll hold it up and show you what we got. I think it's gonna work. So we can get that as close as we can to there. I mean, it's hitting that pipe now. So I might work on trying to lower that intercooler a little bit to buy us a bit more room, or just bring up the bottom of this plate and that'll kind of flush it up. So width-wise, there's two options. It's looking pretty good at the moment to match up with the guard, but if it is sticking out too much, another option is to trim this a little bit more and get it to match up with this line here. Turns out they're actually a different shape. So I'm gonna have to make a little infill panel here if I leave it out there, or trim it in, but it's looking as good as it can be for now. So I'm gonna make up some dummy mounts and try and get this thing sitting there. Then I can shut bonnets, put bull wire up forwards and backwards and slowly work it out from there. Alrighty guys, there's a few things I need to let you know about, so pay attention. All right, first thing, we have Show Your Dirt finally coming back. So if you're in Sydney, Eastern Creek on the 3rd of September, we're running Show Your Dirt down at the Dragway. So come and bring your four-wheel drive, enter it in the show and shine. It is for you guys. It's an event where you bring your car, put it on display. There's a bunch of awards, prizes to be won for best judged vehicles, etc. We'll have merch there, we'll have entertainment, we'll have some businesses, stuff to look at, food and drinks. So come down and enjoy the evening down at Eastern Creek. There is a Facebook page if you do want more information. Join the event and let us know you're coming down. Number two, budget builds that you saw in the last couple of weeks was an absolute ripper. And if you missed the last episode, we're actually giving away a car. So we're giving away a budget build car, which is perfect for someone who wants their first four-wheel drive. We've launched a website with some budget build merchandise. So I'll link it down below. Jump on the website. Every shirt that you purchase gets you an entry in to win the car. There's a couple available there at the moment and some new designs coming ready for pre-order. That'll be coming very soon. So check the car out on the Budget Build's Instagram page or on the website there. Number three, hope you're still paying attention. We have the Sydney four-wheel drive show. So the weekend after Show Your Dirt, I'm going to be down at Eastern Creek again for the Sydney four-wheel drive adventure show. I'll be there with a stack of merch. We're actually going to have all the budget build cars there. There'll be the 80 series behind me, the Patrol, the Delica, the Challenger, which is the giveaway budget build car, and I'm going to have the White Patrol. I'm going to have 5 cars there. Speaking of the White Patrol, if you want to see that, we're bringing it down for the Sydney show because we're actually giving that car away on the 10th. So on the Saturday at the show, we're giving the car away. And for this weekend coming, if you're watching this, we're running double entries. So get your last minute entries in to win that four-wheel drive. That's the massive off-road tourer. That thing's worth $40,000+. It's got everything you could ever want, twin locked V8, all that good stuff. So come down the show, get your entries in this weekend, get your entries in online for the budget build car, and I'll see you at Show Your Dirt. Did you get all that? There's like 4 different things. All right, back to the episode. All right, I totally just got in the zone, Dan, and didn't actually feel anything. I think I got 1 or 2 shots on the welder. But anyway, lights are mounted, kind of mocked up. The thing is, well, the truth is, I'm actually going to the Melbourne Four-Wheel Drive show in like 10 days, so I don't have time to do this properly. We're gonna leave it the way it is now. It's a bit of a temporary fix. I mean, these brackets are just a bit of spare steel that I had. Nothing fancy, a bit of bracing. It's nice and strong, but when I come back from the show, we'll sort it out properly. But I'm gonna leave it jigged up. It's enough to get down to the show to get that out the way, and then I'll come back and build some proper brackets when I know it all fits right. But this is how it's pretty much gonna look. I've managed to get it pretty sweet with the bonnet down. You can see how the fitment, well, that's not fully down, but gaps are looking pretty good. So I'm gonna continue on. The next thing I'm gonna sort of start mocking up the guards and see what needs to be cut out of there. And then, touch wood, bull bar should be fairly easy because that only needs a trim to make the bottom fit, which is pretty simple to just stencil it on there, cut where required, happy days. But the biggest pain is obviously this is wrapped, not painted, so I'm hoping I can get the heat gun and peel the wrap back to here somewhere, put the guard on, trim it, and then push the wrap back on with a blowtorch, make it set again. So fingers crossed it doesn't destroy it. All right, it is looking good. But before we go any further, I just want to remind you guys about the petrol giveaway that's happening. So I've got a link down below. The last car we built, the restoration project that was my first car that I bought back, I've actually rebuilt that and we're giving it away. So if you want to win the car, click the link below. We're actually drawing the winner at the Sydney Forward Drive Show on the 10th. Entries close on the 4th of September. So get in quick. And enter the draw. There's basically a couple of packages you can get, and you get some merch with the package anyway, so why not? But looking at this thing, we're getting closer. Actually, last night I actually wired up the lights and did a bit of a test. All the lights work, it looks sick, but this side is pretty much finished. I've got the brackets mounted. I made another one there, just made it a bit more sturdy. All the wiring sorted, the Deutsch plugs on, all the brackets are there. So I'm gonna hook this light on and finish that guard off. It's looking pretty close. And then it's basically mirroring the same for this side, which is very close also, just waiting for passenger side light. This was the one that was damaged. So I got these off a wrecked car. There are a lot of cracks I had to fix and a mount snapped off. So I've just glued this plate on there, which I could screw into. So just waiting for that to set, and then that side can go on, lights on, and then it's basically bull bar as the last bit. Okay, now the bull bar hasn't been too bad. It did need a bit of a trim and some new plates made up. So I had to cut back a lot of this section here to follow the headlight. That's fine, I knew I was gonna have to do that. But the factory mounts weren't really fitting up because the bar's gonna be stepped out a tiny bit. So I've had to make some new big plates. Went down to AJ Steel and they had this made up for me like on the spot. So a couple of big 200 by 230, 6mm thick, so nice and strong. Trim it back to shape, and then the bar should hook up, and that kind of finishes it. Hook the winch back up, put the grill on, and let's take a look at the final result. Well, absolutely frothing. This front end looks sick. There's a few little things to finish, some plastic moldings, but the bulk of the work is done. I want to fix up a bit of a join there on the grill and around the side here. But it's pretty sweet now. I've got an 80 series with the 200 front end and now a Patrol with a Y62 front end. What should we do next? Who knows, guys? But anyway, thanks for watching the video, and don't forget you can enter the competition to win the GU wagon. That is still going, a couple of weeks left. So there'll be a link down below to enter that competition to win the car. But I'm going to be down at the Sydney Forward Drive Show. That is where we are announcing the winner of that giveaway, and this car will be there along with the 80. So if you want to check it out, come to the Sydney Forward Drive Adventure Show down at Eastern Creek. We'll see you guys there, and we'll see you in the next episode. Don't forget to subscribe. I've just spent 3 months doing engine upgrades on my motor here, and I've been told I'm not allowed to turn the key until you press subscribe. Please press subscribe.